Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday again. Wow, these days are flying past at the moment. So here we are again. It's Tuesday. We are back to an online tea and toast, but we've changed the name to Breakfast Buddies, but it's exactly the same sort of format as we were doing before. And when we spoke to you last week, we said about Tuesdays are probably going to be a day where we work from home, just moving forward. But obviously, since we last spoke to you, the world's gone a bit bonkers again. So we'll get into all of that in a bit and explain to you what's going on at the yard during this Plan B COVID times we're going through. But before we do that, there's some new faces, there's some old faces. So let's introduce everyone. So if you haven't ever come down to the yard, or if you haven't ever watched any of these online tea and toasts, I'm Jasmine. I'm a conversation starter at the yard. And because of Plan B, I'm back at working at home. So you're going to be seeing me all the time on these morning streams. Okay, so I don't know, are you top right hand corner to you, Beth? Do we all see each other in the same?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so top right hand corner, we've got Beth. And lots of people have seen Beth before. She's done loads of these things with me. How are you this morning, Beth?
I'm good, thank you. It feels weird seeing so many faces because last week it was just you and me, Jasmine. We've tripled our numbers since then, which is really good. It's great to see everyone.
Nice to have a few of us here. It feels like, we are just sitting in the yard, but having a chat, what we'd normally do, and having a cuppa, but we've got to go back to virtual. But It's all good. We can do this. It's all fine. Okay, so bottom left-hand corner, that's Laurel. You've all seen Laurel before. How are you doing this morning, Laurel? You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. And then top middle, it's the lovely Rachel. Good morning, Rachel.
Hi.
How are you today?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Hope you guys are all good today as well.
Have you got a little dog sat next to you there?
It's all good.
Is that your dog?
Yes, I do. Little troublemaker Aria. Yeah.
Aww.
So every now and then you'll hear me quickly rush into the keyboard to mute it when she goes off the back.
No problem. Okay, then down below we've got Rebecca in the middle. Good morning, Rebecca.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm okay, thank you.
Good. You're not nervous. You're a first timer on this tea and toast online, aren't you? You ready to put the world to rights with this all? I am sure. And last but in no means least, we have got Zach in the right hand corner. How are you doing this morning, Zach?
I'm all right.
You good?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Good. So thank you so much for you all coming on and joining me this morning. It does make these conversations a lot easier when there's a few more of us. So Rachel, Rebecca and Zach are all volunteers at the yard. So I imagine whilst we are on this Plan B and doing a bit more online stuff, you will be seeing their faces quite often, hopefully. Hopefully we don't scare them off this morning and they decide to never come back. But yeah, you should be seeing a lot of our faces over the next few weeks or so. So normally on these online sessions, we like to start off with something called our internal weather. And it's something that we've done for ages, haven't we, Beth? It's just a nice way of sort of letting each other know how we're feeling, but using the weather to describe. So I'm going to kick us off and then we'll all go around to see what your internal weather is. So my internal weather this morning is, I feel like mine's feels a little bit like a tornado or a hurricane. I'm feeling I think it's this time of year as a parent and you're working and your kids break up in a few days. It's very, very manic trying to get everything ready and remember every single thing they need at school. So I'm a little bit like, woo. So yeah, a little bit like a tornado's coming, but I'm good. There's there's still a bit of sunshine in the background, but there's just a lot going on. Come on then, Beth, what's your internal weather?
I'm feeling quite sunny today. Although it's not very sunny outside, it looks a bit grey outside, but I'm feeling very sunny today. I'm in a good mood this morning.
I love that.
Like that for the rest of the day.
Yeah, love a bit of sunshine. Got a few people saying hello to us this morning, so we'll just quickly say so. Bianca said, good to see you all. We've got sorry if I pronounce this wrong, Manoli. Good morning, everyone. Good to see so many people here. And XX Glitchy, hello. So it's nice to see some of you watching us online already. Brilliant. Okie dokie then, Laurel, hit me with your internal weather.
Well, my internal weather is a bit cloudy, and it's just because I went to bed late last night,
Oh, you're tired.
so I'm tired.
What time
How
did you
late,
go to bed?
Laurel?
I have to say 1:30.
Oh,
Oh,
goodness. I've been asleep for about 5 hours by then, Laurel. I can't stay up that late anymore. I'm too old. Oh, so you're a bit cloudy today, but it's just because you're a bit tired.
Yeah.
Oh, well, at least you're still in your bed. You're nice and warm. You haven't had to leave the house this morning. So it's all good, really. All right then, Zach, come on then. Hit me with yours. How are you feeling today?
a nice morning fog.
Oh, okay. Is there potential for a bit of sunshine to come out behind that fog
Yeah,
later?
it could go either way. You know,
It could go. A
just woke up.
thunderstorm could
Could go
arrive.
anyway.
A thunderstorm could arrive, or the sunshine could appear. We just don't know.
Mm.
We've got to wait for that fog to lift, have we?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. We've got 50-50 that the sun's going to come. So that's not bad odds, is it, really? Rachel, what's your internal weather?
Ooh. I'd probably say a bit, I don't know what's the best way to describe aching pain. So maybe like cloudy
Okay.
or something. Because my neck's still hurting from like the past few days. But other than that, mentally I'm all right. So sunny
That's good.
and cloudy.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully those neck pains and everything will start to ease over the next few days and you can go to be in your sunshiny self.
Yes.
Okay then, Rebecca, how are you feeling today?
You know when there's like one of those clouds and it's really dark and you don't know whether it's going to rain a lot or it will just be fine. It's like one of those.
Oh, okay. So we're a bit like Zach. There's like we're 50-50 how this day could go. It could get stormy, but it could get sunny.
You're hoping for a strong wind to blow that cloud away. It's like, no, don't rain.
Well, I reckon after us all chatting together this morning, we're all going to be feeling a lot more sunshiny, or not, may the case be. Let's hope. Let's be positive. This is going to make us all feel so sunshiny by the end of it all. Okay, so let's kick off. I mean, you look at the news. We've all just had a quick look at what's going on in the news on our phones just before we came online. And once again, we're just dominated by COVID, aren't we? So as I sort of touched on shortly just before, so Plan B was announced. Was that Thursday night?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday night. So the return of working from home, if you can, kicked in on Monday. And the mask wearing in sort of everywhere inside has begun again.
Yeah.
How do you all feel about Plan B? Is anyone feeling? Because I'm hearing really mixed views from people. Some people are just fed up and feel a bit like, here we go again. You know, what's going to happen next? Or I've even heard a few people say that, well, they're just fed up with it now. They're not going to follow any of the rules. They're just going to carry on doing what they want to do. Well, then there are some people who at the moment actually are feeling quite apprehensive and quite scared about potentially what the next few weeks or even months could look like. So, Beth, how are you feeling?
I think obviously it's really difficult because you need to take whatever measures are necessary to keep people safe. But at the same time, it's very frustrating from a point of view for our youth work. We are having to restrict our hours from about 2:00 in the afternoon to 9:00 in the evening to about 4 to 8, which I know is really difficult for some of our young people, meaning that they don't get us for that bigger period of time. But obviously, doing the stuff online, they still have access to us, but it's a little bit different.
That's a lot of cases.
That is a lot of
Wow.
cases.
Yeah, just put on Gary's message.
That's 100,000. Was that more million?
100,000, isn't it?
100,000.
So that's a
Yeah,
lot.
It's a million.
Is it a million?
No, that's
Yeah,
millions.
I think it's 6 series.
Oh, well done.
6 zeros.
Good job someone can count the zeros this morning. My eyes are like, "Ooh, what? That's scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zach, how are you feeling? Because obviously, although you volunteer with us, you also access us as a young person on some of our different things that we run. And obviously, like Beth said, a lot of things we've had to adapt and sort of restrict a lot of things. So how's it making you feel?
I mean, I guess it's like an important thing to have like a plan B to make sure everyone's safe. But then again, it does feel kind of isolating because I have to stay at home a lot more.
Yeah.
And it's kind of boring, and then I don't get to go out as much.
Yeah.
So that kind of brings the mood down a bunch.
Yeah.
But I do understand why they're doing it.
Yeah, and I guess, you know, that's very much, you know, how we as just talking about our internal weather, all these different factors that are going on in the world at the moment affect that, don't they? I mean, normally this time on a Tuesday, we'd all be sat in the yard together by now. Beth maybe not so, but I mean, definitely myself, Rebecca and Zach. Zach would probably be walking in with a McDonald's and taunting me with it. Rebecca would just laughing her head off, crocheting. But it's never quite the same doing these things online, is it? To actually seeing people in the real world. Rachel, what are your views on it all? Are you feeling any apprehension, or are you just quite happy that, you know, we're following the right plan?
I'm glad that we got like a plan B, because I think it would be a bit silly to not have any backup plan in case the first one would go to pot. I guess that's the right way of saying it. But what I'm really confused with is we got our NHS passes for boosters and vaccination. There was a thing where it said it's mandatory on the app. So does that mean like our card isn't validated anymore? It has to be on the app.
I don't actually know.
Because I don't know how to do it on the app at all. Because I'm just reading it saying it's mandatory for like to get into nightclubs and large crowds. And I know I used the card to get into the theatre like last week.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I don't actually know the answer to that, but I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if that's the way they were going moving forward. So I guess the only problem with the cards is, I mean, it's like we all probably know who's ever had a fake ID. Back in the day, I did.
That's what I'm thinking.
So I'm guessing the cards are perhaps a lot more open to perhaps people sort of making, you know, I don't know. I like this. You mentioning that's the first time I actually heard that, but I mean, part of the plan B is having to show your COVID passport to access big events and stuff, isn't it? So perhaps it's something we might need to look into a bit more and see.
I did see a thing on the Chronicle and Echo that said people can face up to a £10,000 fine for faking COVID vaccine status or a negative test.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So I'm just going to read this out. So XX Glitchy said, I feel like we're going to go back into lockdown because there will be a spike after Christmas. Whether people will listen to it, though, is another question. Does anyone else feel worried that we might be heading for another lockdown?
Yeah, I think so.
What do you think, Laurel?
Yeah, definitely. That is a concern because of the amount of messing about the governor's done. Trying not to get this too political in the morning, but the governor's messed about us so much that I think quite a bit of the population of the UK doesn't really care about what the government says anymore, which is quite worrying. When hospital cases rise, and at the moment the NHS is under so much strain, even though the government thought it was a good idea to give the GP surgeries of the UK less than 12 hours to notice that they were changing their vaccination from just doing like small vaccinations and doing lots of GP work, doing all the vaccinations again, which I think is really awful. And I think it's really not nice to GPs as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're under immense pressure at the moment, aren't they? And then there's also the other side of that coin, because obviously now Boris has said, like, right, you know, we're ramping up this COVID booster. He wants every adult eligible to have had one by the end of this year, which
he's not going to do. He's not going to do that.
Very long. But there's then that worry for people who are waiting for operations, waiting for different treatments, because now they're going to get pushed because this is taking precedent, isn't it, over everything else? And perhaps people who could have been already waiting for quite a long time to have their operation or their cancer treatment or something, it's then what's going to be the knock-on effect on those as well. So I think that's another worrying concern for people. Did you want to say something, Laurel? Sorry, I didn't know.
Sorry, I was just itching my eye at the same time. But also the waiting lists are being as the longest they have ever been. Like the waiting list for anything is really, really long at the moment, which is really bad because mortality and morbidity will go up. Sorry for the death stuff in the morning.
No, well, it's unfortunately, no, it is what's happening, isn't it? And it's talking about the real stuff that's going on in the world, and unfortunately, that is what's happening. But I think also it's mental health, it's people's mental health. So we all dealt with the last lockdown in different ways. I really struggled with it mentally, having both my children at home, homeschooling them, trying to work, trying to juggle all of that, and it really did affect me. And I feel concerned for the prospects of potentially another lockdown in January, which I keep hearing people speak about. How true it is or not, I don't know. But that really concerns me. And it's in addition to all these additional waiting times for hospitals, and the mental health pandemic that we're going to go through from all of this is also a massive concern. How are you feeling, Rebecca? Are you worried about it potentially going lockdown again?
Yeah, I'm pretty worried. I don't want there to be another lockdown because the last one was pretty bad. And obviously, if it was a full lockdown, I'm assuming we wouldn't be able to go to the yard at all. And I know me and Zach, like, we're there nearly every day. So
yeah, well, it's your little outlet, and it's your sort of, yeah. Well, that's it. That's your little safe place where you go. But yeah, I guess it feels too hard to really predict anything at the minute. And I don't know about you guys, but just like last time, you feel like you can go to bed one night and wake up the next morning and it's all change again. There's so much. This is such fast-paced moving, isn't it? I don't know if someone said to me yesterday that he's doing another announcement on the 19th of December. Has anyone else said that?
No, I didn't see that.
I haven't.
Probably.
I thought it was going to be last night. I might have missed that.
Oh, there wasn't one last night, was there? Did I miss that?
Oh, I don't know.
There was one on Sunday night, and that was just a pre-recorded one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then I don't know. Yeah, I guess. I guess we'll wait and see. Sorry, you've put. Isn't it too late for that, Jasmine? I can't remember what I said. Just put me a comment and to refer to what I was saying, because I can't remember what I said, I'm afraid. So I can't reply to you, and don't want to not reply. So talking about the COVID booster, has anyone here had their booster yet?
No.
I've got mine booked for Saturday.
Yeah.
Same here.
17th.
17th. I have got mine today.
Mine yet.
Can't
Yeah,
you?
it wouldn't let me do mine.
No, because I'm not vulnerable or over 30, so I have to wait.
I thought they just opened it up to everyone for over 80.
I checked the website. The website the other day, it says 30 over.
First.
Yeah.
Well, I've got mine at 12 o'clock today.
12 o'clock today.
Sorry, say that again.
Oh, I think Zach and I from Wednesday we can do ours.
Yeah, I think so.
So just going back to him doing Boris doing an announcement, he was supposed to give one on the 18th of December, or maybe he will be, I don't know. Glitch is saying gets their first vaccine in 4 days. Brilliant.
Nice.
Yeah. I was referring to the booster. Oh, okay. Yeah. So Beth and I touched on it a little bit last week, but I know loads of people now who are saying they're not going to have the booster because first of all, they said it was 1 jab. Now they said it's 2. Now they're saying it's 3. And there's a lot of people quite anti this now. Have you heard anything like that? Or is most of the people, your friends or family, are they quite willing and happy to go and get their booster? What about you, Rachel?
I've had family members be divided over it. So I'm someone that was a little bit apprehensive because I didn't get a good reaction from the second jab. But that was because I got an immune system. I had the Pfizer, yeah. And basically, with my body, if I ever get a temperature, my body doesn't react well. So having the jab made me spike up in temperature, and I was in hospital for about a day. And then after that, I was okay. But hearing about the booster, I was worried about getting that reaction again than obviously protecting everyone else. But I've had family members turn around to say, it's a way of government controlling you, don't believe all the malarkey and all of that stuff. And I'm like, I would rather be safe and sorry than doing something out of my selfish need. because, and it's just really upsetting to know that people can be so divided about it, because it's not really black and white. It's protect people or don't protect people, and without thinking, I want to protect others.
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
any way I can. But yeah.
Anyone else had any sort of negative or reactions to the booster? Or
I think for a lot of people that I know, they're getting the booster purely for travel reasons. Like they want to be able to go on holiday and they want to be able to leave the country. Obviously, if a lockdown happens, that's not going to be able to happen anyway. But I think that's a lot of the reasoning for a lot of people that I know, is that they want to go abroad at some point.
There's a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. So Manola's just said, another problem with this booster is you don't get the same vaccine. Well, this is exactly it. So I'm getting mine today, like I just said. So I had 2 doses of AstraZeneca. So I'm apprehensive about getting my booster today because I was really poorly with both of my vaccines last time. The first one I was in bed for a good couple of days. The second one I was really poorly for about 24 hours. And now today I'm going to go and have, they're not doing the AstraZeneca as a booster, so I'm either going to have Pfizer or Moderna. And now I'm worrying, thinking, oh no, what if, this one then makes me poorly, or, I haven't got time to be poorly, it's too busy. So it is sort of is making me feel a little apprehensive, but it's, I'm going to get it done. And like Beth, what you just said, I do want to be able to travel next year, fingers crossed. So they're saying that your vaccine passport, it will need to have the 3 sets of back jabs on there for that to be sort of be able to be used, doesn't it? Yeah. So Gary said the booster jab is usually Modova side effects, dead arm. Is that the Moderna? Do you mean the Moderna, Gary?
He probably means Moderna. Dead arm.
Dead arm. I can cope with a dead arm. That's fine. If I'm on here tomorrow and I can't lift my arm, let's have a look. So I know a few people who had Pfizer or AstraZeneca and received as a booster Moderna. Yeah. So Gary's saying it's the best combo. Oh, I hope so. I don't want to be ill. That is the last thing I want. But yeah, we'll see. I'll tell you all tomorrow. If I'm not on here, it's because I'm dying in bed and I can't work. So you'll soon know. Something else that I think is sort of, it does all sort of tie into what we're talking about, just moving on from the booster. What are we all thinking about the number 10 Christmas cheese and wine party that happened last year? Who wants to kick us off? Who's furious? Who's fuming with the government? Go on then, Laurel.
I'm fuming because the government told everybody else to stay at home, not meet up with anybody that wasn't in their bubble, because we were doing bubbles last year. And the government, as usual, like most governments we seem to have, do not like to follow their own rules and think it's okay that they can get away with it and nobody will squeal, which somebody has, because we found out now, that they've had this Christmas party and it wasn't even just a small one, it was quite large, I found out. People have found out, stick it on social media, so I found that out. And they've had more than just a bit of cheese and wine, they've had like a whole party. And I'm like, so last year, when the whole of the general public wasn't allowed to do anything then more than like 3 people in their bubble with their family, which is up to 6, I think it was last year, what I remember the COVID rules, we couldn't have proper parties. Loads of us were displaced and loads of us couldn't see relatives. We haven't seen them recently or anything. And they had an interesting night of partying and drinking, which I think is really bad and also really just awful.
100% agree with you, Laurel. Anyone else feeling the same?
It's the fact they laughed about it when they were planning the address of it, and the fact that people couldn't see their dying family members, and they just laughed it all off like nothing happened. Yeah, that's really annoying to me.
Yeah, I agree. So that was it. I don't know who that lady's name was. You know, the one who did she ended up winning.
Allegra Stratton.
And what was she to Boris, his PA?
I'm not sure who she was.
Anyway, don't know. But that video when you see her when she was testing out and she was laughing and they were all joking and it's terrible, isn't it? And it's like what Zach just said and Laurel just said, it's not just the fact that we couldn't see our families and friends and have a normal Christmas, which was absolutely horrendous. People were dying without loved ones being able to be with them. People were so very, very ill, and none of their family or anyone could see them whilst they're having a party. I mean, I heard that Boris Johnson hosted a quiz.
Yeah.
Online, although he wasn't actually there, was he? He hosted a quiz, which they all joined in with. It's just sickening, really. And Gary's just says they probably claimed expenses for the party. We paid for it. Do you know what? Probably did. Probably did. But do you think there will ever be any? I know today they're saying that number 10 staff have been told that they're not allowed to delete any of the evidence or any of that. Do you think the government will ever pay the price, or the because there's also people were getting fined back this time last year when their party was going on because perhaps they had one extra person in their house who they shouldn't have, and they've got a 10 grand fine or a 5 grand fine. Are the government ever going to pay the price for their wrongdoings, what they did last year?
Probably not.
No.
Definitely not.
Do you think we'll ever really find out the truth?
No.
Well, the thing is, Gary made a really good point earlier, saying that they probably claimed the expensive for the party from us paying for it. So they're never going to really feel responsibility in the first place.
And then I guess you can understand people's anger and people's lack of wanting to follow guidance from the government when they couldn't even follow their own guidance last year. So you can understand the way people, I know, not wearing the masks, not wanting the booster, not going to adhere to the sort of rules and regulations that are in place, and potentially could be even further down the line. We don't know what's sort of going to happen yet. So I'll just read this out. So I'm pretty sure that got brought up in Parliament about this person who was angry because while her mum passed away from COVID and she couldn't see her, they had a party. 100%. I heard that story as well. Yeah. And there was someone on sort of breakfast TV the other morning, and the day they had their party was the last day she saw her dad because he got taken into hospital. And then, Laurel, you'll have to help me out here. With COVID, when they then put them onto they never really come back. Do you know what I mean?
Ventilator.
Yeah, ventilator. Yeah. So that was the last time. And whilst that was happening, her dad died. They're all partying away. So you really can sort of understand people's anger, can't you? And frustration.
Definitely. But what I don't understand is, why has this story been leaked now?
A year later.
Has it taken a year for this story to come about?
I think there was someone was caught lying a few days ago. So there was 7 days ago, there was a report of joking about the Christmas party that apparently never happened. So they denied of having the party, and then it's been leaked. But I don't know how recent that would have been.
Do we know?
No, I don't know if it was an ITV thing.
Yeah, it was an ITV thing. I've just read it recently.
Oh, was it? What,
yeah.
Like an undercover investigator or something?
It says, according to the Nigella Sturgeon resigns over this party, it says the video obtained by ITV showed PMs after their press secretary held a party and laughing over how to describe it.
Yeah.
It was ITV, so somehow managed to get it.
So Bianca said it was leaked last year. So was it was leaked last year and we didn't hear about it then?
So they've recently followed it up.
Probably.
Is it because it's basically like the anniversary of it then?
Maybe. But yeah.
So I've heard a lot of people saying how it's a distraction. Yeah,
I've heard that. Yeah. Distraction from the NHS thing going through.
Yeah.
Because the NHS thing went through recently, the Health and Care Bill went recently into the House of Lords, which is a dodgy state of affairs because at the moment it's trying to get privatised.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so what do you guys think about people saying that Plan B is a distraction from them holding accountability for the party? I think 100%.
Yeah.
I do think Plan B is necessary, because I think the statistics, potentially what the scientists have told the government moving forward, are worrying. So they've had to, but it's all come great timing for him, hasn't it? It's even like the COVID booster. They were saying on the Breakfast TV this morning. So obviously all everyone's talking about now as well, the COVID booster sort of campaign, so to speak. It's dictating all the news and everything. And again, it's allowing the party from last year to quietly go off in the sort of background in hope that we'll all forget about it. But I don't know. I mean, this morning it was just all people, there wasn't anything about the party anymore. It was all just the queues in all the walk-in vaccine centres yesterday. And so are the government just constantly going from one distraction to another to continually try and cover up, make things go away that they don't want to talk about? I don't know. Bianca's just said Plan B is a poor attempt to help people. Yeah. Well,
I think I said it last week. You can't take back all of the things that happened at the very start of the pandemic. The poor decisions that were made then are still impacting people now, and the number of deaths that happened then, this is not going to change anything.
No.
I think because of all that as well, nobody's going to want to listen about all this Plan B stuff, which will then put us into another full lockdown.
Yeah.
Because if they can't follow their own rules, how can they expect us to?
Exactly. That's the problem. And I think that's the problem we're going to be facing, isn't it? Although I did literally just before I came online on this morning, that on this morning on the TV, this Omicron variant was found in South Africa, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it had the scientist lady who sort of discovered it there. She was on the telly, saying that this Omicron variant is nowhere near as bad as the Delta. So, they're saying, is all of this unnecessary? Are we going too over the top, or should we be doing this because it's a very mild strain? Apparently, I don't know what you guys think about that.
I'd rather we go over the top than just not do enough. To be fair, let's be safe than sorry.
Yeah.
It's going to be a struggle, obviously, if it does go further than just Plan B into like a full lockdown. But I'd rather make sure like everyone's like safe and it's like okay to go afterwards, rather than just sit in it now and cause more deaths.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I don't disagree. I think you're right, Zach. They also don't care about the fact they're killing people, as when Boris was saying about let the bodies pile high. Yeah, and that was a comment he made last year, didn't he?
Wait, he said that? Oh, wow.
Yeah, he said that.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah, it really is. So while we're just sort of on the subject of COVID, because like we're saying, this Plan B is affecting everything. So Beth, should we just run through what's changed at the yard moving forward, and so people know what we can actually offer and what we've got going on over these next we can't even call it. We can't say for the next month, or we just don't know until the government guidance changes. So for me, the morning sessions, because obviously I run the community side things down at the yard. We can't do any of those at the moment. So as I said, I will be working from home for the foreseeable until things change. So all of our breakfast buddy stuff has moved on online like this. So we will all be having virtual cups of tea and coffee. At least I won't have to smell your McDonald's every morning, Zach, when I'm on a diet. Although I would much rather be seeing you all, in person. But so these will be running Tuesday to Friday, 10:30. And anyone, if you're watching us online and you'd like to jump on and have a natter with us, you are more than welcome to. We always say it's more the merrier with these, and it's really, really great to hear people's different opinions on things. Because, if you're sitting watching us and really disagree with something we're saying, or really agree, or feel really passionate about something, jump online. You can join us. We can even add you to the studio if you're brave enough to have your face on here with all of us. And if that's something you fancy doing, you could contact us on social media, or you could send me an email at theyard@communitycourtyard.org. So the building on 62 Gold Street closed in the mornings at the moment. We're not allowed to be open. So what are the afternoons looking like now, Beth?
So in the afternoon, for young people, we're going to be open 4 till 8 o'clock. And we're going to be doing things that we normally do. However, if you are coming to our afternoon sessions, you have to let us know that you're coming, just so that we can keep looking at the numbers and the amount of young people that we're getting in, because we all just want to keep you as safe as possible. So if you are coming to an afternoon session, you can message us on our Discord, WhatsApp, or any social medias just to let us know that you are coming. We're all wearing face shields at the yard, so all of the staff are wearing face shields. We're antibacterialing every 90 minutes, and if you are able to wear a face mask, then please bring one with you. But however, if you are exempt, then obviously that is absolutely fine. I think also it's important to note that on a Monday, Sophia, the curator educator, is doing Make Do Amend online, and that's at 10:30. I think Zach, Rachel, and Rebecca, you were all on there on Monday, weren't you?
Yeah.
So that would be really
what was
good.
you doing? Was you making anything, or was you just chatting?
Patching up ripped jeans with like noticeable stitch.
Oh.
Yeah. So like you can see the rip and it adds quite a bit.
Yeah. Sounds fun. Yeah, so I guess that's really good if there's anyone feeling a bit crafty and likes that sort of thing. It's an online session that you can join in with and still feel like you're getting involved in something. That's it then. So what about Saturdays? Is there anything?
Yeah, Saturdays we've got a new youth group in the evenings, and that's from 5 o'clock until 8 o'clock. So that started last week, and that was really good, actually. It was a different group of people to who we normally have. So I think it's just important for us to kind of reiterate what expectations we have at the yard, just so that when new people do come, it's not a shock to them when we tell them to stop doing something. So it's really important to remember not to be throwing things around. We don't hit each other. We don't punch each other. And I think it's really important for us to all think about our words and the way that we speak to one another when we're at the yard. Because if you think something's funny, it might not be funny for somebody else. So it's just important to remember that your words can hurt people. Yeah. I think as well, it's really important to treat the equipment at the yard and other people at the yard with the respect that you would want to receive yourself. Because that space is a really safe space for a lot of people. So if anyone gets damaged and people get hurt, that then takes that safety away for a lot of people. So it's just maintaining that respect and treating it like you want it to be maintained. Just remember that when you're there.
Yeah, 100%. So like Beth said, it is really important now if you want to come down to one of our youth groups to let someone know, because the last thing we would want is for you guys to turn up and hoping to get into a session, and because we're having to restrict the numbers and make sure we keep everyone safe. So do just let one of the workers know that you're coming down. And just to reiterate what Beth said, really, the yard is inclusive of everybody. We don't say that anybody isn't welcome, but what we do ask is everyone to be kind to each other, because it is a safe space where a lot of different people from a lot of different walks of life come, which is brilliant, which is what we love. But we must remember that we're all humans and we must all keep being kind to each other.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, we've all just done our first Breakfast Buddies online.
Yeah, we did it.
How was that? You was all awesome. I thought we had a really good chat this morning. And actually, considering we're only just starting doing this again, we have quite a few people joining us as well. It was good, wasn't it?
It was really good. You did very well. Love hearing all your opinions.
You're pros now. I expect you to be here every day with me. That's it. I'm not going to let you go.
I can't make tomorrow.
I
can't make tomorrow. I've got a hairdressing appointment.
Have you?
I also can't make tomorrow.
Getting my luscious locks cut.
Oh, well, honestly, you've been one session with me and you're all off already.
To see Sophia.
Okay, we'll let you off. But you are going to come back this week at some point.
Yeah.
And Zach, you're going to have to come back because we're going to need to see the haircut. So,
are you getting the mullet?
Yeah.
Are you getting the mullet?
I'm so happy.
No.
It was a mullet before, but it kind of grew out a bunch. I love
okay. So we will see you. I'll be back tomorrow morning as long as I'm not really ill with my COVID jab. And we'll be chatting, I'm sure, again, all things COVID, because it's dominating everything. But we'll see if we can try and get a few other things to talk about as well, because it gets a bit boring, COVID all the time, doesn't it? Perhaps we'll start to do
with Zach that tomorrow.
Yeah. And perhaps we'll start to do a few little Christmassy things this week. A Christmas quiz. We could all do one online.
Yeah. I'm down for that.
Yeah. Also, if I remember rightly, Rebecca, you did say about teaching us a little bit of sign language, didn't you?
No.
So perhaps we could do that on maybe Thursday or Friday. But I'll have a little think, and as a team, we'll come up with some Christmassy things, because let's not be doom and gloom. Let's try and make sure that we all enjoy a little bit of Christmas spirit this week, shall we? And I tell you what, on one day I want everyone in their Christmas jumper. So we'll organise it, and then when you guys watch us online, you'll have to wait and see what we're doing each day. But yeah, we'll do a few of them things and not just be depressed about COVID. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me all this morning, and thank you for everyone that's watched online. I'll be back again tomorrow at 10:30, hopefully not by myself. But have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you all soon. Bye.
See you tomorrow, guys.
Bye.